Hello and welcome to my English class. So, as we have discussed on the previous day, that we are going to start a series of lecture of English literature of NCERT, and we started Who Did Patrick's Homework from Class 6 Literature. So this is the first chapter that we started, Who Did Patrick's Homework. This is the chapter of Class 6. Before I start any further lesson today, I would like to express my deepest anguish that I couldn't publish my video on time because I actually caught the death of cold. But now I am on the mend and I am hoping to back on my feet soon. And I seek your cooperation for that. And thank you so much for your cooperation that you will be, stretching to me in the future. So let's hope for the best. Let's hope for the best. So let's do it. So we started Who Did Patrick's Homework on the previous day, and we came to know what sort of boy Patrick was. He was a kind of unruly boy, and he never liked to read books, and he all the time he liked playing. And when finally his exam was knocking on the door, he realized that he didn't do his homework at all, and he was out of luck. He was in distress. But one day he found a little elf who was under the attack of his own pet cat. He rescued that small elf, that little elf, and in return he asked for a favor from that elf, and he told that actually this boy Patrick, he had saved the life of that elf. So in return that elf had to complete all the pending homeworks of Patrick. So that was a rule, because this boy had saved the life of that elf. So now it's the rule, or now it's the courtesy of that man to help Patrick, to get out of this current situation, which was not at all pleasing. So on the previous day, we read some of the portions, and we came. I would like to draw your attention to these lines. You see, the little man's face wrinkled like a dishcloth thrown in the hamper. He kicked his legs and doubled his fists, and he grimaced and scowled and pursed his lips. Oh, I am cast, but I'll do it. So you see here some expressions I would like to underline. Wrinkled like a dishcloth, and grimaced, scowled, pursed his lips. So all these sentences are actually expressing the distress and suppressed anger of that little elf. I would like to show you some pictures, some images that will help you to imagine what kind of situation that must have been, or what kind of situation or what kind of face that must have been made by that little elf. So just a moment, please bear with me. And don't go anywhere. I'll just show you just a moment. So there you can see this face. We can say this is wrinkled face. This person is very, very angry, and he's expressing his anger by twisting his face. So this is wrinkled. These marks, these are actually wrinkles, so these wrinkles may come all over your face because of your old age, or when you are very, very angry. So this is a wrinkled face. So imagine you are in the restaurant and you have used what shall I say, that what is that called, that one, napkin paper, and you have used that napkin paper and you just crumpled it, and you just throw that one into the hamper. So that is called wrinkle. So this kind of face is also called wrinkle. And just a moment. And this is called the expression of grimace. He's doubled his fists. So these are actually fists. These are not actually fists. Fists are a little bit bold. So if I may draw, let me try. So that can be called as fists, not feast, huh? It's fist. Never ever say feast, it's fist. So this is called a feast. Okay, so we can call this one as the fist. So yes, so doubled his fist means this one is because that elf used his both the hands, so that's why we can say he doubled his fists. And this expression, this whole expression is we can say, and this is the expression of grimace. Okay, so very ugly and twisted expression, facial expression is called a grimace. Okay, so that was the these two pictures will help you to imagine the kind of situation or kind of expression that must have been given by that elf when he was put under the pressure by Patrick. So let's come back to the point. And now I hope you will have no problem in understanding this why and how by reading these sentences, how that elf might have given his expression when he was put under the pressure. So he at the end he said, "Oh, I am cursed, but I'll do it." Why did he say so? Because I'm cursed. That means when someone is going through a very bad situation. Suppose at first he was actually attacked by the cat, and now after being rescued by that boy, now that boy himself was using him. He was taking advantage of the situation, which is not a good thing though. Okay, so you must go through, or you must remember, you must memorize these word meanings. That will help you to develop your writing as well, because the more you will be adept in vocabulary, more you will be strong in writing. Okay, so vocabulary and writing go hand by hand. Okay, so have a good grasp in vocabulary. You will see you will have a strong basis or strong base of writing. Okay, so let's move on to the next page. And true to his word. True to his word. When do we say that true to his word? When a man promises something to you, and if that man keeps that promise, so we can say that man is true to his words. That means that man never breaks the promise that he does. Okay, so here in the previous page, we came to know that elf actually promised Patrick that he'll help. So, and he was true to his word. That means he was very honest. And true to his word, that little elf began to do Patrick's homework. Except there was one glitch. It's an informal word, and glitch actually occurs in machines. So glitch here also the meaning has been explained. A fault in a machine that prevents it from working properly. So means actually now we can see that what shall I say? That elf, we can hear the author in a very subtle way, in a very tricky way, wanted to say that the elf was actually a machine, or the elf doesn't have any emotion. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, because in a little ago the elf showed his anger, but now in this stanza the elf has been compared with a machine. Okay, because the glitch, we can say whenever you are surfing the internet, you can use this word in your day-to-day life, the way, like you can say, I'm having some technical glitch, I'm having some technical glitch, my computer is under the glitch and I have to repair this one. So glitch. Okay, and this word is actually used for the machines, for the machines which are not working properly. So now we can understand, or we can say that here maybe the author wanted to give us the hint that the elf was actually a machine. So it was my proposition. It may not be true. You might have your own proposition. The elf didn't always know what to do, and he needed help. Help me, he would say, and Patrick would have to help in whatever way. Okay, you have to underline, you have to note these words, and you have to use these expressions in your writing. That will increase the weight of your writing. How? So in whatever way means যেভাবে হোক সেইভাবেই করতে হবে. Now what to do means, what does it mean by that? Means suppose you were asking for a new toy from your father, and your father is constantly denying, okay, whatever you are asking for your father, no, not today, I'll give you on the next day. So now finally your level of patience broke, and you said, no, you need to get my toy in whatever way. I need my toy now. You must get my toy in whatever way. Okay, it's up to you. I don't care whether you will go to Delhi or whether you will go to Mumbai, but I need my toy in whatever way. I don't know this word, the elf squeaked. It's a very it's related to the sound. It's very small. It's a very high-pitched sound. Okay, very coarse sound. While reading Patrick's homework, get me a dictionary. No. What's even better? Look up the word and sound it out by each letter. So first, that elf told Patrick to get a dictionary, but later on he changed his mind. No. Don't get me a dictionary. You just do something. You just read the word by yourself. So it will be better. So no, what's even better? Look up the word and sound it out by each letter. You just read out the letter, okay, and tell me the meaning as also. When it came to math, Patrick was out of luck. It's an idiomatic expression, out of luck. Out of luck, it means unfortunate. Okay, so when you are unfortunate, or when your luck is not in your favor, so you can say that I am out of luck. Suppose, how can you use this expression in your word, in your speaking, even in your writing? Suppose you have been invited to the marriage ceremony, and you were late. You were very late. Reached over there, and when you reached over there, you found that unfortunately the food has been exhausted. There is no food remaining for you. So you can say, oh yes, I was invited in that marriage party, but I went over there. But when I reached there, all the food was exhausted, and I was out of luck. Okay, so that was it. And you can also say, actually it was Sunday, and I went out for the stationery shop for buying some pencils, but I was out of luck on that day because all the shops were closed. So this is how you can use this expression. What are timetables? The elf shrieked. Shriek means giving a very loud shout. What are timetables? So this kind of expression is called shrieking. We elves never need that. So what does it mean? Because you see, now let's imagine that the elf was a machine. Now imagine the elf was a calculator. Now, do you think that calculator needs a timetable? No. So that's why the elf is saying, what does it mean by the timetable? We elves never need that. And addition and subtraction and division and fraction. Here, sit down beside me. You simply must guide me. Okay? You tell me how to subtract, how to do the addition, and how to multiply the numbers, and you tell me about the divisions and fractions. You just sit down beside me and you will tell me every single thing. Elves know nothing of human history. To them, it's a mystery. Now here you must have seen the author has used some of the words to match, mystery and history. And even we have seen in the very first stanza, like just a moment, let me remind you. Yes, this one. Just a moment. Breeches and witches. Okay. So once again, history and mystery. So this is a style of writing. Okay. So you see, history and mystery, shouter and louder. Okay. So the elf is saying, what does it mean by history? We are elves. We don't know about your human history. So don't ask me anything about your history. Okay. So we don't need any history. We don't have any history. History is like a mystery to us. Okay. And when the elf was asking for all these things, the elf, he was shouting. He was already shouting. Now he's shouting. The pace or pitch of his shouting got louder. Means he started to shout much more. Go to the library. I need books, more and more books. You can help me read them. 2. What does it mean? Here, the elf is telling to Patrick, now you go to the library. I need books, more and more books. Just go and get the books from the library. And I can't read books for you. So you will be opening the book. You will be reading the book to me. I'll listen to you. I'll listen to you. Then I'll do your homework. You'll get the book. You will read it out to me. Then I'll help you. As a matter of fact, every day, in every way. Now here once again, day, way. As a matter of fact, every day, in every way, that little elf was a nag and drag. Nag and drag. Okay. So here the author has used many rhymes, even in the prose. This kind of writing is very rare. So this kind of writing is rarely found. So that's why, you can see I have already told you different kinds of rhymes that the author has used in kind of, we can say she has used a couple of rhymes in each stanza. So as a matter of fact, every day, in every way, that little elf was a nag. Patrick was working harder than ever, and was it a drag? Drag means something which is very boring, uninteresting. So every day, now you see, Patrick thought at the very beginning that he'll use that elf to do his homework, but here we can see that the elf itself was using Patrick. So elf was using Patrick, it was on the contrary thing actually. Okay, so Patrick at first thought that he will be taking advantage of the distress of that elf, but what's happening at this moment, that on the contrary, the elf was taking the advantage, or elf was using Patrick to do his own homework. He was staying up nights. Staying up means to not sleeping when you don't sleep at night. It's called staying up. So you can say I stayed up late on the previous night. I stayed up late on the previous night. Means I didn't sleep earlier. So stay up means বেশিক্ষণ ধরে জেগে থাকা রাত্রিবেলা. Had never felt so weary. Weary means very tired. Very tired. And bleary. Once again, weary, bleary. So bleary means something which is hazy, blurry. Okay, you means something means which is not unfocused, unconcentrated. So bleary. Suppose if you don't sleep for many nights, so what will happen? Your vision will be blurred. Your eyes puffed. Puffed means your eyes will be swelled. That means if you don't sleep at the night, your eyes will puffed. Means your eyes will be swelled. SWELL, swell. His vision was blurry. Finally, the last day of school arrived, and the elf was free to go. As for the homework, there was no more. So he quietly and slyly slipped out of the back door. Slyly. Sly. Someone who is very cunning. Okay. So we can say cunning, C-U-N-N-I-N-G. So a sly fox. A very cunning fox. A sly fox. Now why? Why is he sly? Keno eto chalak? Why is he tricky? Because you see, when that elf was making Patrick do all the works all by himself, that was planned. That was the plan of that elf. That means when the time was over, he knew that he actually made fool out of Patrick. He made Patrick fool. Now that's why he was very sly. He was very cunning. So very slyly he left the home. Slipped out means he left the home very quietly, without noticing by anybody. Patrick got his A's. His classmates were amazed, bewildered. B-I-W-I-L-D-E-R-E-D, bewildered. His classmates were bewildered. They didn't know how can that be possible? How a boy like Patrick can do all the homeworks? That's impossible. Even he has obtained A's in the marks. Okay, in the progress report. and his parents. They wondered what had happened to Patrick. He was now the model kid. Cleaned his room, did his chores, was cheerful, never rude, like he had developed a whole new attitude. Now here, the author actually in a very tricky way wanted to tell us how a model kid should behave, or what does it mean by model kid. And if you want to be a model kid, you have to follow all these rules. What are the rules? That you have to clean your room, you have to do all your course means the work that you have to do. Okay, course means the work, your work, the housework, your work, homeworks, or even washing your clothes, even brushing your shoes. So all these works, that your own work, is called course. So he cleaned his rooms, he did his course, and he was always cheerful. He was never rude, and he had developed a whole new attitude. So a model kid is never rude, and he always cheerful, and he always behave himself. He always behaves himself, and he always keeps his room cleaned. You see, in the end, Patrick still thought he had made that tiny man do all his homework. But I'll share a secret. What is a secret? Just between you and me. It wasn't the elf. Patrick had done it himself. So that was the secret we discovered very earlier. Okay, so the secret is, we thought Patrick was, as I said, Patrick thought Patrick was actually using that elf, but what actually happened, that was actually contrary. On the contrary, the elf was using Patrick. So that was the secret. So it was written by Carol Moore. We have completed reading this chapter. On the next day, I'll help you doing all the question answers from this chapter. So must follow the channel, subscribe, stay tuned, and just boost your knowledge.